Hey everybody, it's Martin again. Today I'm tying a bonefish fly. It's a Greg's flat fly, it's a really nice little pattern. It's quite effective in areas where the fish get a lot of pressure and they're maybe less likely to take like the standard patterns like gotchas and charlies, that sort of thing. So in the vise I'm putting a size 6 Gamakatsu SL11-3H. I've recently I've been switching all of my bonefish fly tying to these hooks because they're good and strong, and also if you see a triggerfish, you know, you can still take a shot at them and you don't need to worry about them breaking through the hook as you would with like a TMCO or something. So run on some tan thread, this is just 6/0, and then I'm going to tie in some bead chain eyes. Just lash them in with some X-wraps first. And then over and under around the shank to help lock them in place. And leave just a wee space in front of them because that'll let you get your weed guard in as well. A wee bit of super glue, just for some added security, and then run your thread back just to the start of the bend, so when your bobbin hangs it's just about level with the barb of the hook. The tail, or I suppose they're supposed to be pinchers really, is some calf tail. I'm using tan, but you can also use pink, orange can be good as well, white. Just got to square off the ends, and then the length you're looking shank length, maybe just slightly more. And then I'll tie that in nice and secure, and tie it in the length of the shank. Right, I've seen people tying these before and they just have a wee bump here. It makes it really awkward to tie the rest of the fly well. So now I've got this tail here, and I'm going to separate it into two even bunches. Right, split it in half as best you can, and then I use my thumbnail, so I take the far away half, check them for even, there we go. I use my thumbnail and like I press into the gap, and then I bring my thread up and just let it slide down my thumbnail, and that splits the bunch. And then take a lock and wrap, right, and then do the opposite in the other direction. And then you've got your bunches. So that split. Now obviously that's just a couple of wraps, and it's not, you know, although they're split it won't hold them, so then I'll come in, take 2 or 3, can be a bit fiddly. That's 3 that way, 3 the other way, and then I wrap across it, come back, and that's it all locked in place. And now you've got these two separate bunches. I've seen some people that post them like parachutes, but I don't really like that effect. I like them just to be tied in as, with as little thread showing as possible. So now I'm going to take 2 strands of crystal flash, right, root beer, pink, whatever, up to you. lay it in on top and to the side of a bunch, fold it over, do the same on the other side. Trim it away. So this has got a palmered body hackle. I'm just using a grizzly saddle, but you can use tan, white can be nice. If you're fishing over grass, you could use an olive. Catch that in there on top of the shank. And I'm going to take some medium D-rib or vinyl rib. And I'll come from the front, I'll just catch in the tip. Oops. Just catch in the tip with a couple of wraps. Keep it tight. Oh. I just snapped my thread there, but that's fine, that's not a huge problem. Just tie over that. It's going to be well secured anyway. Right, so catch in the tip, a few tight wraps, then start stretching it. If you stretch it, it will obviously thin it down a wee bit. And then bring your thread back to the front. I'm going to take some Opal Mirage tinsel. You can use pearl, you can use other colours, but I'm using Opal Mirage. I like how it's quite shiny. You know, it seems to be shinier than a standard pearl, more reflective, because you're going to sort of wind your thread across it, and it's nice. Like they're just the glimpses of the high flash, and then the sort of muted effect. So catch this in here at the front, then run your thread back to the tie-in point where you've tied in your vinyl rib and your hackle, and then just take this back in touch and turns. Tie it off, 2 or 3 wraps, and then just sort of spiral your thread forward. Make wee bands to act sort of as a rib. Excuse me. And then trim away your waist. Right. So you've got sort of this effect. Now you don't need to do that. You can leave it unbanded, or you can even leave it without the pearl if you want something a bit more subtle. It's up to you. I sometimes like to use just leave some hot orange floss or something here and use that as the rib instead. That's also very nice. And I'm going to wind the D-rib towards the eye. Don't put too much tension on it at first. You want to taper it towards the bead chain. I mean, if you think about the tail end would be the head of the shrimp or whatever this is, so it would be a bit thicker than the hook eye end, and come in between the bead chain and catch off 2 or 3 wraps, a couple of wraps in front, and then I'll come back behind the bead chain and lock it in place there as well, just for a bit of security. Pull that tight, snip it off. Now I'm going to wind my hackle between the wraps of vinyl rib. This is just a grizzly saddle hackle. You can use I'd recommend using saddle hackles because you kind of need the length and you don't want them to be too long in the fibre. I mean that's plenty long enough. Much longer than that it starts to look a bit bizarre. So neck hackles are less useful maybe. Again, I'll just come through between the eyes and catch that and then snap the stem. You can do that as long as you keep your thread tight. Then I'll just come in and trim all the fibres that are on the back of the shank, which will be the underside of the fly. Then I'll come in with some thinned down head cement. This is just a bit of durability. And just wipe it across here. It'll sort of run in the gaps, and it will help to protect the stem of the hackle. So just making sure I've got no fibres going forward to the eye there, and then I'm ready to tie in my weed guard. So just some hard nylon. So got a wee inch and a half or so, and I've folded it over to make this wee loop, and then offer it up to in front of the bead chains. A couple of wraps in front, a couple of wraps behind, pull it down, and then you can just take a few wraps just to help lock it in place. Whip finish. Tie always two for security on the saltwater stuff. And that's the tie-in done. Some of your waste thread. Just trim your weed guard. Right. And then the last, just to finish it off, right, to make sure this is really durable, I'll come in with some more super glue, right, just get plenty in there, and then when that's dry I'll coat this with head cement as well, and that just really protects your thread wraps, gives you a nice hard head. You know, like, especially if you're fishing sort of coral or something, the thread can be kind of vulnerable. Big heavy drop, just let it go in there, plenty. Right, that'll make a nice, stiff, durable head. But just make sure your eye's clear. Grab a wee scrap of feather from your desk or whatever. You can use your dubbing needle too. Just poke it through. And that sweeps away any excess. And there you have it. That's it, the finished Greg's Flats fly. Nice little bonefish pattern. A bit different from the sort of usual Charlies and what have you. Certainly catches fish, works very well. I caught quite a few fish in this, my last bone fishing trip, so I thought I'd include it in the channel. So, hope you liked that, hope it was useful. If it was, remember to give me a thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share the video to anybody who would like to see it. Thanks for watching guys, tight lines, bye.